Welcome one and all to the Back of the Desk Preview Podcast. I'm your host Terence Ford, and this week I'm joined by Albert and Hesketh, and later on Chris from One More Points. Look out for that in the middle section. And for the rest of the time we'll be building you up to, well, that's a lie, isn't it? For the rest of the time we'll be talking nonsense before we briefly talk about that Palace are playing Aston Villa this weekend. Welcome everyone into the show. Thanks for listening. Hesketh, you're grinning away there. Very, very happy. The wife's been away for a week now. Look at you. You look 10 years younger.
Oh, I don't know. I was just looking. We've got video in this chat, and I've just got massive bags under my eyes.
Yeah, you only look about 48 now.
Fuck you.
And that's the dulcet tones of Albert Curley there. Thanks for joining, as always.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
We experimented with a little bit of spaces on Twitter, didn't we, before that?
I don't know what was going on. I just pressed a button and all of a sudden you and loads of voices were coming out of my phone.
So this is a new feature that is available on Twitter. So for the next few weeks, we'll give it a go. Half an hour before recording the podcast, I'll start one of those spaces up. You can join, ask me any questions you want, and we'll address them on the show. We'll see how it works. Get some interaction going with you lots. And we've got some interaction when we get into this.
I'm thirsty. I want a beer. What about you? You want a beer?
So, I've only got a punk this week from Brewdog. That's it. Nothing special. It's what happens when you don't go out and buy any beers. Albert, you're consuming alcohol. a lot of it.
Yep. And what happens when you don't go out and buy even less beer than you have to drink white wine. And I had one with dinner, and then I looked at, I'm not much of a wine drinker, but I looked at the bottle and thought, there's not much left in there. So I started pouring it into the glass, and the glass got about half inch from the top. So it turns out it's quite a big glass of wine. And I've nearly finished.
You haven't? Wow.
He's putting his pinky up when he drinks. He's unrefined. You got to put your pinky up when you drink, Albert, if you're drinking
No,
wine.
that's tea. That's tea. Fob me off.
Unrefined.
I've had 2 glasses of white. I'm close to either punching someone or crying. So don't wind me up.
Yes. And Hesketh, we might as well ask.
I am drinking.
Ayo. Oh wow.
This looks like it could be a wanky beer. I'm holding a can up for people without a camera. It's just raspberry and blackcurrant infused sparkling water.
Fucking
yeah, boy. But I also do have a glass of normal water.
Whoa!
So they say don't mix your drinks. I say
Vanessa, get home sharpish. He's out of control.
2 different kinds of water. I'm ready to go.
Right.
To the toilet.
Bladder of an infant. Last week, you may remember that as just a sort of passing throwaway comment, we asked if anyone would want to mock up some beer bottles for us from our beer blurbs. And alas, we got some. Thank you to Danny Arter, who sent us in some mock-ups of some bottles. Albert, how was it to see your handiwork coming into print?
It was good. It was like life goal achieved. It just goes to show the power of the podcast. You put it out there, and there's some amazingly talented, kind-hearted soul who not only delivered but smashed it.
Yes. So if you head over to our socials, we'll get these pictures of these posted up, and we'll tag in the artist himself, Danny Arter. Good surname for an artist, Arter. Palace fan. So he mocked up the frozen strawberry Backery.
Backery.
The Schmack My Bitch Up.
Yep.
And the and I Will Always Love Brew.
Wasn't even an official one, and he's even done that. So that's extra brownie points.
Yeah. So
I forgot to ask you. Did he do the Nick Gusset one?
He did do the Nick Gusset one, I believe. And it was the Ramage à Trois.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I saw it, but then maybe not. Nah. Nah. Did you do a beer blurb this week?
Now you've done it. I was going to say this would be a great segue, a classic Terence style segue to say, and maybe he could do insert Aston Villa Crystal Palace beer blurb here. But no, I haven't done one. I think seeing the labels done has kind of, it's like we've smashed it. We've ticked that box. It's not because I've been too busy. Normal service will resume next week.
Oh, okay. Well, to cover over spare your blushes, there were two more. Sup on Schlup was done as well. And Ramage à Trois, but it was a try he put as in TROIS, not the actual one that Nick Gillard keeps getting upset about. That it's, but there you go. So yeah, thanks again to Daddy for doing that. We really enjoyed that. People who have played for both clubs, Gabor Koray
did it last week. I should have just read that one out again, shouldn't I? To be honest, still on my phone.
Who else we got? Who else has played for both clubs? Stan Collymore, Southgate. Barry Bannon.
Yeah,
did he play for Villa?
He did.
Yeah, Southgate, Jedinak. Staunton.
Oh, good answer.
Staunton, good. Was Gary Cahill ever at Villa?
Yes, he was.
Was he?
Yeah, I think I come like as a kid, like as a youth academy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he has a link there.
I'm calling a steward's inquiry.
I reckon he started his career there and then went to Bolton.
Yes, he did indeed. Aston Villa played 28 times for them.
Can we cut out the bit when I said calling a steward's inquiry?
So, where would you go with a Gary Cahill one?
Well, considering I've only just realised / found out that he played for Villa, I think it's a bit of an ask to come up with one literally on the spot.
Like you did to me. Give me a minute. All right, cool.
Give me a minute. No, let's move on.
You can have
a bottle of white wine. Nothing's happening.
I have faith that you will come up with something by the end of the show for someone. And if you don't, I'll beat you up because that's kind of the trend of Palace fans this week. I don't know why I'm laughing. Shouldn't really be laughing. Hesketh, I stopped going to away games for like 1 month and all hell was breaking loose up at Burnley. Madness, really. Did you see any of this while you was up there?
Nothing to do with me, obviously. Put that out there from the start. No, I didn't see anything.
Honest officer.
I wasn't even there. Apparently, it was some bigger boys.
Listen, the fact that I got DR to delete everything off of his phone is neither here nor there. I didn't see anything. It did seem a bit tense after the game in the concourse, but I didn't know whether that was Joachim Andersen related or not. But yeah, I mean, all the reports and all the sort of rumours you hear afterwards aren't great if they're even half of them are true. So, not a fun week for Palace fans really there. But try and concentrate on what happened on the pitch, both good and bad instead, I think.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh God, so you see this in the chat from Hesketh over the Cahill for the beer.
That's the easy bit.
That's the easy bit, is it?
I'm done. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to give creative direction, and then off you go.
I'm an ideas man.
Yeah, I spend all my time looking at stats.
It's not even fucking beer. It's just over the Cahill. It's not even beer related.
It's the name of the beer. It works.
Hang on. How is Shamak My Bitch Up beer related? Whoa, hang on.
Because it says Shamak My Beer Chup. It's got beer in the title.
What about the Bakary Sacco one then?
Frozen strawberry Bakary. It's a drink.
It's not a beer.
It is in fucking Terence. In Terence's house, it is.
Oh,
there's definitely going to be a strawberry daiquiri beer. 100%.
All that's happening here is Albert is stalling so he can think of some nonsense and try and claim the win. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Look at these little puddings.
No, I'm just saying. Oh, we can all think of fucking clever puns, can't we?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for.
I'll take one look at Albert's face, and do you know what I think?
I'm not sure I want to know what you think.
Wide feet. That's what I think. That man's got wide feet.
And you know what they say about men with wide feet? Go down to the shop in Thornton Heath and get yourself some extra wide shoes, mate.
Excellent. But yeah, just like I wasn't there to see any of this fighting or anything, and some of the stuff I've heard, I mean, people ending up on the tracks at Euston is just horrific, really. Keep it away from the ground, lads. Like if you've got beef with each other or whatever, sort it out elsewhere. Don't do it. Can I just say, on the tracks at Euston is actually quite far away from the ground at Burnley. You know what I mean. Just keep it away from a Palace-related fixture. Come on. It's ridiculous. In completely separate, unrelated news, there's been a report out that's saying that cocaine use is flagrant at football stadiums.
Flagrant or fragrant?
Fragrant.
What's this like?
America, wasn't it?
This cocaine's rather fragrant. Would you fucking say?
I'm gonna need to smell that a bit closer. But yeah, I mean, no surprises there on that article. Hesketh, did you really see any cocaine taken on?
Again, just professing my innocence here. Had nothing to do with it. I had a cup of coffee on the way up, and there was nothing else in it.
Now, when you see Hesketh, you might think that there's grey streaks through his hair, but it's just all the snow that he's constantly around.
He's got a touch of the devil's dandruff.
Oh, dearie me. Someone who's usually up for a bit of a fight is James MacArthur. Hesketh, new deal. Looks like might be on the cards, even though he has wrecked his hamstring yet again. Yeah,
great timing that the news of a new deal comes out after he's been ruled out for 2 months. Great news, though. I was talking to a friend of the show, Miserable Dave, about MacArthur, just sort of saying, the way that he's played the start of this year, you wouldn't know he was 34 because he hasn't, showed any signs of slowing down. In fact, I think he's had his best patch for a long time, and that's a high bar. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It sounds like Vieira's a massive fan of his too, and people talking about coaching badge and stuff in the future. I can see that sort of starting off at Palace, which would be quite nice.
Do you not think ruined hamstring is a sign of slowing down?
Just went ping, and that was it. Slowed right now. Hopefully he doesn't come back about 2 stone heavier like he did from his last big injury he had for us.
The good news is he's got another hamstring, so we're
got one to spare.
Yeah.
He can only walk 250 miles though.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, come on. That's decent enough. Jesus Christ. Benteke, now Premier League Player of the Week. He got a Team of the Season card on FIFA for all the people who care about that out there. Scored 2 goals. Albert, this puts him on 86 goals in the Premier League. He's now 1 behind Dennis Bergkamp and only 2 behind Cristiano Ronaldo. So the race to 100 goals is truly on. Yeah,
100%. I mean, he's played in the Premier League for a lot longer than either of those players, but the stats are the stats. It's good to see him on form. Somebody will still say, well, what about the chances that he misses? Which, again, okay, if he was scoring every chance that got created for him, then he wouldn't be a Crystal Palace player. He'd probably still be at Liverpool, ripping up trees. I really like him. I'm really happy for him that there's a manager that seems to somehow get the best out of him, and on his day he is head and shoulders, no pun intended, above any other striker at the club. Edouard's got the potential, obviously, but Benteke just seems to have found his sort of rhythm again. And yeah, I think he's great. And he's great in the box. I think he's doing really well. Still trying to do that sort of come in short and link people up thing, but he's definitely finding himself nearer the goal, which was always his problem under Roy.
Just to put it out there, Benteke's played around 60 games fewer than Bergkamp did in the Premier League so far.
Well, can we cut that bit out? Can we cut that bit out? When I said,
yes, we can't cut it out. Absolutely
damn.
not. But it's right. Obviously, Ronaldo's played far fewer games, but that's Cristiano Ronaldo we're talking about there. So, yeah, and Roy years aside, he's a 1 in 2.5, 1 in 2 kind of striker. Roy's obviously used him to link play a lot more, which is kind of coming about. There's a lot of arguments to be said that that's the way that the centre forward is going in modern day football. So maybe he was ahead of his time, but who knows? Hesketh?
Yeah, I think the good thing about Benteke of late as well is that his finishes seem way more instinctive than they were, a couple of years ago, when he was sort of trying to take an extra touch, and obviously his confidence was down.
Confidence, yeah.
His both of the goals against Burnley were really good. His goal against Arsenal was really good. I think we all know that he can score headers, but seeing him be as confident and as, like I say, instinctive as that with the ball on the floor is great. And it's, no surprise that his form is going on strong if he keeps, bagging goals like that.
And what was it like on the terraces with his 2 goals? Everyone resounding happiness with him?
Yeah, great. There was a guy near me who was like, how can someone score 2 goals and still be shit? But
it's just that some people will never let it go, will they?
But
ever.
I think that's pretty harsh. I think Benteke played really, really well on Saturday, and yeah, he was getting a lot of songs over the course of the match. So back in everyone's good, well, nearly everyone's good books.
Albert, if Benteke is shit, what was Gareth Taylor?
Welsh shit.
Welsh shit. A Welsh shit.
I see what you've done there.
Yeah, I mean, to call people like Benteke shit in the context of some of the strikers we've had, even in the Premier League, I mean, we had a very past it Kevin Doyle, for crying out loud, who found his level with his only goal against Dover Athletic.
Live on the BBC.
Indeed. The day Peter Taylor actually got a good reception again from Palace fans, which was nice to see. Other news coming out this week is that half times are potentially going to be extended for, and I quote, Super Bowl-esque halftime show entertainment in the Premier League. How are you feeling about this, Albert? Maybe you could do some art direction on one of these.
Listen, as you alluded to on Twitter already, you can't beat what's gone before. On Mished Son, a winner, game of 2 baths, not so good, but pretty good. The original halftime crossbar challenge. We managed to do all that within 15 minutes, and we were happy with it. So why are we dicking around with it? We don't even do the little kids taking the penalty shootouts anymore. Why do we need to make it longer? Stupid.
Indeed. Now, Hesketh, you married an American.
I did.
What are you talking here? You want a bit of Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake?
Well, I think there's a bit of a distinction between the Super Bowl and halftime Palace versus Burnley. Yeah, I mean, it's not for me. I get bored enough as it is at halftime. So adding an extra 10 minutes on, especially now it's winter, just get it over with and let me go home. Don't want to stand up for another 10 minutes. Boring.
Well, I've come up with a sort of Squid Games heptathlon to be the halftime entertainment for 25 minutes. So you've got 7 events that you need to complete, and if you don't complete them, You get thrown out the stadium and you can't watch the second half.
I thought you were going to say you die. That's a bit.
No,
Get thrown on the train tracks at Euston.
So your first task is you've got to sing "Glad All Over" the mic as the teams come off the pitch, and you've got to get a good proportion of the crowd clapping along. Otherwise, you're out. Then when you finish that, you've got to carry the halftime draw number board to the centre circle and back.
Can I add to that one and turn it around slow enough so all four stands can actually see what the fucking number is?
Exactly. Then you got to complete a dance with the crystals, full outfit. Then you've got on my shed, son. Got to get a ball in the shed.
Yeah.
Then you have to do the Mitsubishi halftime challenge. That's scoring from the penalty spot, edge of the area, edge of the D, and halfway line. Then you've got to score the penalties against Pete the Eagle.
I'm confident.
Okay. And then when you score the final penalty, you've got a knee slide towards the away fans. And in front of the away fans will be a beer. And you've got to pick that beer up and you've got to chug it out of that guy who invaded the pitch against Newcastle a couple of seasons ago. But you've got to avoid the steward that's hunting you down. And you've got to get from the away fans all the way back to the halfway line where you grab the mic off Chris Grierson and announce the team to the second half. I reckon you get that all in 25 minutes.
I reckon you do that in the 15. Again, it ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Don't fix it. However, what it would fix is queuing times at the back of the Homesdale. You'd actually could get a beer in.
Yeah. Or they could invite back that Freddie Mercury tribute act from about 15 years ago who got resoundingly booed. And all he could muster was, do you not like Queen? And it was like, no, it's just your shit.
When was this? What year was this?
It's a few years now. It was.
I mean, I'm saying 15 years. It could well be longer than that. There's a really ropey. I mean, I could have done a better job. There's a really ropey Freddie Mercury getting absolute pelters, and he was like, "Oh, what's wrong? Do you not like Queen?" And it's like,
oh, jeez.
Cut your losses, mate. Just fuck off.
I mean, it does. It sounds like a Simon Jordan kind of thing to do. It must have been Simon Jordan.
It was definitely the Simon Jordan era, 100%. Hey, fuck off.
Do you know what? Actually, that makes it ring a bell. Thinking about it, I must have been there.
Yeah, he had the yellow jacket. He was classic Live Aid or whatever it was. Freddie. Just awful.
And what was the crowd like? 14,000, 8,000.
Yeah, it was grim. Yeah, it was grim.
Lovely stuff. So, who would you get? Who would you want at half time? We've got so many good artists in South London. We could get some good ones in there.
Steve Brookstein.
He gets 12 and a half minutes to sing and 12 and a half minutes to preach about Brexit. Is that basically what he does?
Get off. Who else?
I mean, it's a shame Stormzy and Dave have both traded their South London roots despite rapping about how South London they are all the time.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
I'd go for Albert, to be honest. I'd be up for Albert doing a bit of karaoke.
No. Well, anyway, you've both missed that. The obvious answer is Neil Dan's, isn't it?
Summer Flowers album, 12-inch album cut, 25 minutes long.
Take the whole of half time. Jobs are good.
No, don't
boo him because he'll headbutt you.
He's got to do his cover of "Sex Is on Fire," though. He's got to do that as well.
Does he have to?
And then I think he could have a sort of Craig David-esque sort of rapper verse in there, but it would obviously have to be Yannick Bolasie that delivered that.
Yep.
Oh God. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm up for it. 25-minute half time. Let's do it.
Oh, Clash of the Mics round 2. Yannick Bolasie against Sean Wright Phillips. 25 minutes back to back. There's so many opportunities here. I feel like everyone's squashing this too quickly. More time to get beer. Untold potential in just genius on the pitch.
Yeah, didn't we? I can't remember when this was. Didn't we have a half-time marriage proposal a few years ago?
Yeah,
again, I'm saying a few years ago. It probably was 10 years ago.
No, a couple of just before COVID. One of the Crystals got proposed to by her.
Oh no, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm pretty sure mine was a midweek game, like pre-prem, and there was lots of say no. Don't do it.
What a grim backdrop to the start of your life together.
Yeah.
What, Sellers Park? Where else would you do it?
Well, that's true.
Where did you propose to Vanessa?
Vanessa proposed to me. I'm a very modern guy, man. She got fed up. She was like, look, for fuck's sake, get on with it.
So she didn't choose Sellers Park to do it?
She didn't. She proposed to me
in the Glaziers.
In Streatham, which is perfect. Thank you very much.
And Albert?
Yes.
Where did you propose?
Devon. Rick Stein's restaurant.
Oh, that's actually quite big, to be fair.
Yeah. But it was on a weekend where Joe had taken me away. Slipped under the radar. Bang.
Did you hide the bring in the caviar or something?
Yes, similar. I was going to do it the night before, but I had a funny turn and we ended up staying in. So I had to do it the next.
You did it.
Yeah, there's that's not the ring I wanted to hear about, mate.
Outrageous. So I had to do it the next. I had to fall back and regroup and did it the next night. Unlike my brother, my brother proposed to his now wife. I think they were on I can't think which Greek island, and he got a bit nervous and he had the ring in a box in his jeans. And on the way down to dinner, where he knew he was going to do it, he was a bit nervous. And Louise, his wife, said something like, "Are you all right? You seem a bit nervous." I think she had an idea, and he was like, "No, I'm fine." And she said, "What's that? What's that in your pocket?" And he genuinely pretended that he had a bit of a lob on. to try and deflect.
Oh, don't worry, love. It's just half a chub. Oh, before he kneeled in front of her.
Yeah. What about you, Terence?
It was in
Sellers Park.
It was in a park. It wasn't Sellers Park. No, it was. God, her name's escaping me right now. Good job she don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, should we fill for you?
No, it's a park with a hill that overlooks London.
Where?
More northwest.
Harrow,
yeah. Primrose Hill.
Oh, Primrose Hill. Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So that's the exact view of where I did it from. Yeah. Yeah.
This is riveting.
Right. We'll finish it there. We're going to go away for a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Chris from One More Points. We've
done that already. Oh, no, okay, it's a pre-record.
The magic of podcasting, huh? Apologies for the sound quality. Obviously, Chris isn't kitted up to the nines like we are with Hesketh and his Britney Spears head unit, which he doesn't even have anymore. But yeah, so
now
Chris
that I'd like to see at half time. Hesketh doing a Britney Spears tribute act.
What outfit though? The red jumpsuit.
The one where she's kept prisoner by her dad, and you actually don't get to perform.
How dare you? Free Britney.
She's free now.
She is. So take that out.
Yeah. So anyway, after this, we'll be back speaking to Chris from One More Point. We say all we need to do in the next part. welcome to the show, sir.
Good evening. Welcome, guys.
Now, before we get into it, interesting side note tonight. You're up in Yorkshire, living in just on the outskirts of Hull.
That's right, yes. It's not often the little town of Hessle makes national news. I'm literally on the border of Hessle and Hull. And yeah, nice hearing a few explosions going off from my office in the city centre today. And turns out my cul-de-sac in Hessle was getting rained on by chunks of charcoal and plastic from the explosion at the Bridgewood Plastic Factory. So yeah, a bit of drama this afternoon.
Well, when I heard about an explosion at a plastic factory, I thought Brighton was struggling with our atmosphere, weren't they?
It was certainly an atmosphere in town today, that's for sure.
Look at Albert's disgust as he took a sip of that glass of wine there. Absolute disgust. Right, so One More Point is back after how many years is it?
It's 18 and a half years. Trevor Francis was just about to get sacked last time I sold a copy. Grimsby away. Noel Whelan scored. Let's just give you some context on that. There'll be people under the age of 30, maybe 28 years old, don't even know who Noel Whelan is, for instance. So it's been a few years, isn't it? It's
good appearance in Simon Jordan's book.
Yes, and I sold a copy to Simon the very last day I sold at Grimsby. He said he didn't physically purchase it from me. He sent Dominic Jordan over to buy it from me, but that was one of the last copies I ever sold back then. And didn't ever think this day had come back.
I remember his story with Noel Whelan when he was saying that Noel Whelan phoned in sick for an away game and just didn't turn up. And then they get back to London at night. Simon Jordan goes into a club and walks straight into Noel Whelan having a skinful in a club in London. So I think it was the next day he terminated the loan. Yeah, so as you say, Trevor Francis getting sacked was the last time you went. But what was... started, 1998? Is that when you started it?
No, 93. So it was called One More. Yeah, because we went One More Point. We needed one more point. And it was kind of accident. With a week to go at that season, I thought I will name it after whichever players. So I pictured it being called Thank You, Mark Bright. Thank you, Jeff Thomas. Even Thank You, Ian Rush might have been the title had he scored one more goal. Overall, I'm glad it wasn't that, thinking about it now. But it was going to be christened in honour of whoever. There were a few fanzines back then who had very specific titles, Super Dario Land for Crew, but then when Dario Grady leaves, it loses its impact. And Jim Smith's bald head at Newcastle, and then of course he gets sacked. It kind of ruins the title. But One More Point stuck around, and it was very relevant when we avoided relegation by a point against Huddersfield. So it had a happy ending, really, that title in the end.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's kind of influenced 5-year plan in that sense as well, with the kind of similar sort of title around there. Highlights, what are your top 3 highlights from the time that you were selling the fanzine?
Wow. My favourite cover was...
Apart from appearing on this podcast, obviously.
Well, this new era for sure. The highlight's definitely that. Just a couple of times it made the papers. I remember we got a draw against Derby in one of the South London papers. It was the headline fanzine points the way, and because Palace had got a point, they kind of thanked the fanzine for that. Derby won 10 on the trot and then got a draw against us, so it was like they're thanking the fanzine for that. Just no single notes as such, more just the general adventures you got off the back of it, part of which was in the book last year, of course. But just so many friends, which still to this day I'm in touch with. And then it kind of leads to things like this, the podcast. So it's a general thing. I suppose that last one I mentioned, selling to Simon Jordan at the end, that was quite good fun. And
the consummate media professional there, straight off the bat, getting a plug in for the book. So if you want to give a little plug for that as well while you're at it, where can people buy it?
And Perfect Secret Santa fodder as well, at just under £10. And in fairness, if you're listening over Black Friday weekend, the club are actually doing it for £8 this weekend, which I knew they were going to. But it's actually already started, the 24th to the 29th of November. I'm more than happy for the club to take my money, so to speak, but they already paid me up front for the book last year, so by all means get it from the club shop, get your loyalty points. But after that, just contact me on @1more.1 on Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to do mail order during December.
Well, you'll be selling the fanzine at the game this Saturday.
Yes.
So people can come and get their copy signed on around the Homesdale.
Yeah, I'll have a few copies on me, and I'm more than happy.
Yellow beanie?
It is. It's back out of retirement. The hat I wear when I want to punish my daughter and do the school run with this on, much to her embarrassment. But yeah, the yellow beanie is going to be one, first time in a lot of years down south.
So what inspired the comeback then? Why now?
Why now? It's a good question. I tell you what, when you're sat in Hull Royal Hospital with COVID on oxygen for a few days and you're looking at guys a lot older than you not on oxygen, you do start thinking about how ill am I? You start thinking, what's my passion in life, if you like? And I just thought, you know what, I need to get back more involved with Palace. So it was just right into Jim at 5-year plan. Am I allowed to mention him? rival podcast. Wrote to him. Just said, look, when you're doing I'll do some articles. And he says, I'm not entirely certain we're going to do any more fanzines, to be honest. And I was thinking, well, this is a long tradition. You can't just stop fanzine. Someone's got to do one. And he just said, do you fancy editing 5-year plan? So hence that we had the one-off issue in September. I had such a lot of fun doing that. I thought, you know what, I'll give it a bash. Let's just see if there's a market for one more point out there. And Saturday and Leeds away will show if the appetite's still there. Certainly there was a lot of encouragement in September on the FYP OMP issue. So a lot of people asking to do it full time or do it again. So we're going. All being well, I'd like to think there's going to be a couple more this season as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think they certainly still hold a place. I think everyone loves going and picking up a bit of print from the stadium as well, and hearing the fans' voice. Not just the program becomes a bit monotonous after a while. I know Hesketh still continues to buy them all, but for me, it's a bit of I gave up after a while. Nice to get a different spectrum of writers in there. Who else have we got in there this coming weekend aside from Hesketh and I?
So we've got a chap called Ed. He's got a very popular Twitter account, Football Tavern, more of a general one, but he's got a real interesting England piece on there, well written. Happy with that. We've got Chris Saunders, who did a brilliant article on the accounts of Palace in the FYP OMP edition. He's come back to do one really looking at Palace's transfer policy. It's quite open book now that Palace are buying young players with a view to selling, but it's not necessarily as easy as you might think. And he's done a real good breakdown of where Palace may be selling these stars, potentially Gay and Elise and all the rest of it in the next few years. But it's actually a very small market to sell to. So real good article there. And a couple of others got books, book reviews of the new James Howland book and also the Chris Winter bias commentary book as well. And some cracking stuff in there. Toby Kinder, brilliant article on the Ultimate Palace soundtrack as well. That's some fun reading as you do some good learning on that as well. So cracking stuff in this issue.
So £2, is it?
Just £2. Absolute bargain. 52 pages as well.
And of course, for people who are not at the stadium, how would they get their hands on it?
So contact me via @1more.1 via Twitter or on old-fashioned email. Chris, the funny spelling, so CRIS for Chris _Lehman, LEHMANN @yahoo.co.uk. Just let us know your address and I'll get a copy in the post to you and forward the bank details. So if this goes well, I'll have to get a website set up so it's a bit more automated. That'd be lovely if we could get it to that again, like it was 20 years ago. And we'll go from there. But hopefully I'll be seeing a lot of people Saturday and they'll be buying it old school style.
Excellent stuff. Right, so before we cut you loose, Albert's wide shoe story touched you last week.
Yes.
What was that? Albert's face. What?
The wide shoe. Oh, God, where was that shot when I lived down there? Because I have wide feet. I have a daughter
who
curses me. I'm tempted. If it was actually a video podcast, I'd show you. I'm sat here barefoot at the moment. It's flippers, as my wife calls them, and I just played her that segment of the show, and she was grinning, and the perfect shot. So looks like I'm getting my daughter's Christmas present from Thornton Heath this year.
Listen, I'm happy to serialise the story for your next few issues if you want.
Brilliant. I want you involved as well. I had Terence a little put out that he wasn't involved in the last one, so I want you involved as well, Albert.
Yeah, but I don't like to complain. I don't want to barge my way in, and make people feel awkward and you're obliged to ask them to do something. It's not my style.
Honestly, it's I want as many people contributing, and I tell you what, the key is there's so much free content out there. It's important that, if I'm asking people to pay a couple of quid, it's original content, and that absolutely is what this fanzine has got. Obviously, Terence and Sam both with offbeat, or certainly Sam with his different way of looking at things. So it's quite in tune with me, actually. And then we've got Mr. Band for the BBC as well. So I'm really looking forward to that hitting the streets, and certainly welcome yours or anyone else's views, Albert, for a future issue.
Oh, you're very kind. Me or anyone else?
You are anyone else. Just more the merrier. Get an issue out every week like West Ham do.
So you heard it from the man himself there. Pick up your issue at the game on Saturday, or look out for it on at One More Point One on Twitter. Make contact there if you want an issue ordered to your door for just the measly price of £2. And what can I say? If it's got me in it, it's a must-have. They
want to see what's been banned by the BBC, don't they? We got to dig that bit up. Let's make the front cover as that headline.
Excellent stuff. So, look, thanks for taking the time to join us, Chris. Look forward to meeting you on Saturday for the first time.
Yeah,
and I'll seek out that yellow beanie. And
but looking forward to reading the scrap off now.
the scrap the scrap's off. We've buried the hatchet. Yeah. So excellent stuff. So
I was walking.
Save it for Burnley.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True. I missed that Saturday. It sounded like that was the day to have that, wasn't it? Right. No, brilliant. Thanks ever so much, guys.
Yep, thanks again to Chris there for joining and talk about One More Point. Make sure you pick up your issue. If you see me or Hesketh around the ground, come over with a pen. In fact, we'll carry Sharpies on the day and we'll sign your copy for you. We'll devalue it somehow. But yes, so really looking forward to reading the rest of that, and nice to have a bit of nostalgia from our childhoods there coming back. Aston Villa's this weekend. Hesketh, why are all these teams sacking their managers just before we play them?
No. They're just scared. They're running scared. That's the problem. They know we're the premier team in the world, so they know they have to make changes.
Well, I think out of the European top 5 leagues, we have the third longest unbeaten run currently, which stands at 7.
Great.
I think Real Sociedad, the teams above us are not teams you'd expect them to be. Real Sociedad have is that how you say that? They have 13 unbeaten. Building something there. They had a really good season last season as well, didn't they? Is that where David Silva went?
Yeah.
Yes. I love how I like Hesketh's the football expert here. I'm just looking at him.
Sure.
David Silva. I can't remember the teams between us, but again, it's not a household name, that's for sure. Villa ended a long streak of losses recently. They'd lost 5 in a row, which obviously cost Dean Smith his job, and then weirdly walked straight into another one who we play, I guess, in a month's time. Just enough time for him to embed his ideas and actually start picking up some results for them as well. Great stuff. But Gerrard's come straight in and got a 2-0 victory for Villa in the opening game against, who was it, Hesketh? Who did they beat 2-0?
The grubby little people from the South Coast.
Oh, the Brighton Brawlers, right, I see. The Brighton Brawlers. Albert?
Hello.
Man United fans in your household, are they delighted to see Steve Gerrard back in the Premier League?
Only one in my household.
Is that true, though?
Yeah.
And are you excited to see Steven Gerrard back in the Premier League?
Why would a United fan be excited to see Steven Gerrard back in the Prem?
Well, they wouldn't, obviously.
Oh, I see. It was so many layers to that dig that I just missed it.
Two glasses of wine, and he's just falling apart.
Yeah.
How's that beer blurb coming along?
What? I'm not doing one. No, Steven Gerrard back in the Prem. I don't like him, so I hope we smash him like he smashed that DJ for not playing Phil Collins.
Hey yo. Yeah, well, hopefully he'll slip up this weekend, Hesketh.
Bang!
I can give you a very succinct preview of the game. If Villa don't spend the entire 90 minutes punting long balls over the top of Anderson's head, then Steven Gerrard is a fraud. That's it.
This is true. I mean, especially considering Steven Gerrard loved to punt the ball long all the time. One of Aston Villa's strengths is aerial duels. And they do have Tyrone Mings, who is a giant of a man, who, yes, does love to throw an elbow. You've got to think Burnley have given everyone the template, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, we sort of thought before the game, Burnley are direct and good at set pieces and all the rest of it. Dio was telling me he spoke to a Burnley fan who said they've been crap at set pieces this season, so even better. But not only were we bad at defending these sort of set pieces, but we kept giving away really stupid free kicks throughout the game, and it just invited.
Very weak on whoscored.com, avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. We've basically been very weak at this for this season and last season. We just Chiarte is one of the main perpetrators of this as well. But yeah, and it was infuriating watching from the TV as I was. We're just constantly like, they're looking for a free kick in this area. Don't give an opportunity to go over. They can't pass through us. They've shown they can't pass through us. So just make them make that extra pass and they'll likely give it back to us. But no, there it was. Let him go over. Let them pump the ball in the box. And to the extent that it was 2 yards in their own half, they were still just punting it into our area come the end. But it does beg the question, and DR did ask me to ask you this. Anderson, what's your assessment of him now after where he's certainly had a few games where despite being a very tall man, he struggles in the air quite a bit?
Yeah, that's the baffling thing, really. I mean, we know he is good with the ball at his feet, and I sort of thought that his downfall was going to be that he's not very quick. But he's 6'3", I think. He's tall, and you just think, just time your jump. I mean, he was consistently beaten in the air against Burnley. If you think back as well to Antonio's goal for West Ham, it was a long ball sort of over the top where he got caught a little bit, and it's just a weird weakness to have for someone that's quite tall and pretty, fairly physical. I would have thought he'd be all right with headers, but it was pretty infuriating against Burnley. I know DR was filming bits and bobs for the YouTube and keeps having me swearing, shouting sort of next to him. And a lot of it was from losing battles in the air. So it's definitely a weakness. I mean, he's 25 now, so I mean, if he was sort of 20, you'd say, well, we can sort of coach that out of him. But 25, you'd think by now he should have sort of nailed that problem, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be targeted in the Premier League until he does resolve it. I mean, Albert, we're not talking about dropping him here, though, are we? I mean, him and Gay at the back is fundamental to what Patrick Vieira wants to does in terms of playing style. Yeah,
exactly. I think we're trying to play out from the back. The other options at centre half, i.e. James Tompkins, aren't going to come in and do the same sort of job. Might do a better job in the air, might be a bit more protective from set pieces, but I guess we're trying to bring in a style of play that makes other teams worry about what we're trying to do first and foremost, and we are trying to pass the ball around. He has got the confidence to sort of play the short passes around the back. He can also lift his head up and ping a nice sort of 70-yard ball, which we've seen. So I'm sure Vieira's aware of his weaknesses at the back, and it's a case of we have to try and figure a way to sort of iron that crease out, because, you know, in terms of the pros versus the cons, I think the pros still outweigh the cons of Anderson at centre-back. So, yeah, until we splurge another 20 million on another centre-half, at the moment he hasn't got competition. So hopefully we find a way to sort of support him and improve his sort of aerial qualities.
Yeah, definitely. We've had in the past a good track record of improving players, especially in defensive areas. If you think Joel Ward, no one would have said that Joel Ward had played 9 years or whatever in the Premier League for Palace, but here we are. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka, Tyreek Mitchell have come through recently, and those are wingers that have converted to fullbacks and so on. So there's people at the club that can do this and help improve it, and he seems like an intelligent man. He should be able to learn, but he's just right. It's just timing of the jumps. He's 6'4". He's got the height. He shouldn't be any reason why he can't do it. So, and yeah, I'm by no means saying we should drop him. I think he's a brilliant footballer, and he's passing between the lines. Him and Gay it's great. And let's face it, if you say at the age of 25 and his reputation, if he didn't have any weaknesses, he probably wouldn't have signed for us. He wouldn't be playing for us, with the way he is with the ball at his feet. If he was the full package, he'd be playing for a Man City or someone like that. So there you go. So MacArthur, now we've got it confirmed he is out for longer than Patrick Vieira initially suggested. The rumours that we'd heard a couple of weeks back around the international break was that he was out to February, actually. So hopefully he can come back a bit sooner than that. But Albert struggled a bit without him up at Burnley on the weekend. Yeah,
I mean, we're the draw specialists at the moment, bar the odd victory against teams like Man City. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly. I mean, the goals that we conceded, we've just alluded to the fact that they were, most of them were big punts into the box, and we're losing the aerial battles. Does James MacArthur stop either of those goals or any of those goals happening? I'm not sure you can say, well, if MacArthur had been in the box, he'd have got up and challenged Chris Wood or whoever, because, excuse me, James MacArthur's not the biggest of players himself, but going forward and just the general, sort of ball retention and having that energy in the middle of the park, yeah, of course we missed him. He's gone through a real resurgence in that respect. So, a home game against Villa, I think we'll definitely miss that influence, and it's all about who comes in and what the shape is and how we broach that game. And again, bearing in mind, we've got to try and think of a way of countering what's become a very obvious weakness, as Hesketh's already alluded to.
Now, we've got the scenario where you say we've beaten Man City a couple of weeks back. We've beaten Wolves, who have now gone on and beaten West Ham to continue their impressive form. 6 wins now in their last 7, with the only defeat coming against us, something like that. So it's obvious that Wolves are a decent team and we've turned them over. Is it the teams that we're expecting to win, Hesketh, that we're struggling against? And, Villa probably fall into that category this weekend.
Yeah, maybe. I think Burnley was probably a bit of an anomaly just because we haven't played a team that played like them, which was why I was half jokingly, but so we predicted a draw last week just because, we haven't seen what we like against them. Villa obviously don't play like Burnley. I don't really know how they're going to play under Gerrard, but up in Scotland, Rangers are pretty good defensively, so I don't know if they'll sort of be defence minded. I think that, you look at some of the games that we've drawn in, it's just set pieces or lack of concentration. I'm thinking about Newcastle, Arsenal, Brighton. So I don't necessarily think that it's against teams we should be beating, because I think we played well in all of those games, really. It's just that we make, the one mistake in a game and it's punished, and that's what we need to sort of wipe out.
Indeed. Very nicely put. I think we'll just go to predictions now. We're running a bit long with Chris joining us this week, so I'm off the winning wagon after my successive 2-0 predictions. Albert?
I want to predict a win because, the draws are boring, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Haskell wants the same there, doesn't he?
I was going to
Hands
say
up.
1-0. Which, to be honest, I'd probably take at this point.
You can split it by who's going to score the goals.
Michael Elise.
When I say, you say, we say.
Make some noise.
I say Christian Benteke.
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 Palace. Wilf and Benteke.
That's what I want.
Love it. Late consolation for them. We'll breeze it. I'll get a late consolation, and it'll be sweaty bum time for the last few minutes of the game.
Sweaty bum time.
Right. Okay. So all that's left now is for you to do your beer blurb, and then we'll be off.
The beer this week is called Sweaty Bum Time. Pro of absolutely nothing.
It's like a sweaty bum showing through Gabble Cry's grey tracksuit bottoms after a rather vigorous 90 minutes.
Dear, oh dear. What an image.
Anyway, that's a lot for this week. As usual, listen out for the match report this weekend. Look out on youtube.com/back of the nest for Palace Focus, your Palace in the stands, and your opponent previews on there this week. We will be back next Wednesday, so in your ears on Thursday, when we are playing Manchester United, and we will probably, I imagine, be reviewing the Leeds game as well on that podcast. I'm not for sure, but maybe. Who knows? Maybe we can draft in Hambo on the show next week if he's not too busy
moving house.
Moving house. If that's a very nice way of putting it. Yeah. So until next week, everyone. Thanks for listening, and up the Palace.